I'm Tyler from Reversion Raceworks, and today we're making our truck way slower. You might be wondering, why did we make our super cool supercharged Suburban not that anymore? And that really comes down to the belt issues we had. I know we had an old video where we showed how we fixed it, and that just turned out not to be the case because we spit the belt again and again and again and again, and we just decided we want to drive the truck. It's just not fun when anytime you take it out, you're worried if you're going to make it home or not, or what you're going to have to fix on the side of the road. But now we're replacing it with something pretty cool, and we started designing our own air intake for an NA setup for the time being. Maybe in the future we'll get back to the supercharger, but this will do for now. So now that there's no supercharger, we had a big void to fill in this engine bay. And we've wanted to create a cold air intake for this truck for quite some time now, and what better time than now? So this is just a PLA prototype of the cold air intake we plan to make, and right now it's getting printed in nylon, and if you're lucky, it'll be done by the end of the video. If not, but this is the final mock-up, and I think it looks pretty great. We wound up 3D scanning the entire engine bay, getting important geometry from the throttle body to the cold air duct up front, which I think is different on this truck, being that it had the Whipple kit. I need to do a little bit more research, but I think this duct up front came with the Whipple kit and is different from the original big block Chevy engine bay setup. I know the original trucks had their air intake pulling from a cold air duct in the fender. Obviously we have all our ignition here, so that wasn't really gonna work. And we had this duct open up here. But if you guys know any different, shoot a comment down below because I'm trying to figure out how these are all set up. Other than that though, all we had to do was take a circle over here and a circle over here and figure out how to make them meet up. That's how we created this 4-inch intake pipe. We have 2 bolt-on adapters that go to this air box, and then a brand new K&N filter. Overall, I think it looks great. We just need it to be made out of a material that'll actually survive in this engine bay. Also, to make sure it was nice and rigid, we have a small bracket that we 3D printed right here that goes from a bolt for the horn to the air box, and then there's one underneath the air box where it's bolted to the air box itself and then to the inner steel fender here, making it super rigid in those 2 locations as well as the tube to the engine, giving you a very nice installation. And while we were filming this video, got a package from Send Cut Send to finish up this air box. We got a perfectly cut piece of acrylic just to top everything off, but let's see how it looks with this protective layer taken off. I actually picked special hardware for this, so it's like a low profile 1/4-20 screw and nylon washers just to try to protect the acrylic as much as we can, and it just looks good. Thanks to Send Cut Send, you can get 3 of these for the same price as 1 with their minimum purchases and everything. So we have 2 that we're sending down to our buddy Pat over at Driven Manufacturing to get some laser engraving done and just to dress everything up a little bit more. Should come out pretty cool. Another quick upgrade we're going to be doing while we're at it is throwing in our production grade ECU glove box mount for the 95 to 98 or 99 OBS Chevy in this case. This one is exactly as you guys are already getting it, but the one in our truck is slightly different since it was an early production prototype, and some of the changed features are of course our logo and SKUs so we know what part it is, but largely the change in the bulkhead connector. We have a pass-through USB connector that just installs on the top of this glove box, which makes for a nice and clean installation when you're tuning your vehicles on Holley EFI or other various ECUs. On that truck, we used a different size bulkhead and we wound up not even running it, so it just looks ugly, and we'll show you more about that later. But also while we're at it, we're just going to show you how to install this thing versus the original glove box to the new one and show you how it looks in the truck. So right here is case in point while you want our upgraded bulkhead, which, like I said, all you guys are already getting them. We just want to update it in this instance. The cable just looks like crap. It's a mess. And while we're in here, we're also going to fix the drooping problem we have, and that's really just from how this thing screws together. And in the prototyping process, we did it so many times that the old plastic wasn't too happy anymore. So we'll show you how we fix that and how we clean up this whole glove box. But now we'll just show you the disassembly process. It's pretty straightforward. You just push in on the side just like you would on an original one. On these trucks, there's a plastic clip that goes into the crossbar on the dash, and that snaps right in. This one is kind of worn out too, so it comes out pretty easily. So your experience may vary there. I'm just going to pull our USB for tuning back through this big hole. And then we have to unplug the ECU, and it'll come out pretty quickly. And I can start doing the various connectors for the Holly. There you go. And it just drops right out, nice and easy. All right, let's get this thing back to the bench, and we'll show you how it comes apart from there. So before we get into the disassembly, this should make it pretty clear why this bulkhead didn't work. The hole, just way too big. So that's one reason why we're doing this. But to get into it, you just pop out these rubber caps that we include in the kit, so you don't have any of your stuff falling through the holes onto your ECU. And then you just got to get the 4 bolts out, and you can pull the ECU out of the glove box. And there we go, ECU's out, nice and easy. And now we have to take out the glove box itself. So there's 4 screws, just like it came from the factory. And these 3 are pretty easy. 2, there's 3. And ours is probably gonna come right off, yep, because it's completely stripped in there. You can see where the plastic actually split. We'll fill that up with JB Weld, and we'll get that back in action. The absolute last thing we gotta uninstall is this piece of plastic that goes to the crossbar. You pull up on this tab and push it forward, and it comes right out. Here's our plastic bonder from JB Weld, supposedly sets in 15 minutes. We'll see. Hopefully this stuff isn't all rock solid. Oh, that was way more than I needed, but it'll get the job done. That should be good enough. And then what I like to do is grab one of these syringes. I grab a bunch of these syringes off of Amazon. It's just good for doing small work with like paint and epoxies instead of trying to brush everything on. Grab the syringe, and then we'll do the super intricate work of trying to fill this in. All right, now let's do our doctor's work. And I got it pretty full. I'll do a little bit on the outside too, just because we had that crack. I'll call that good enough. All right, that was pretty easy. Now this cures in about 15 minutes with a full cure in about 30. So we'll probably give it the full 30 minutes since we got to drill a hole in there and we don't want it to be all soft. So give us some time, but it'll be pretty instant for you guys.
A few moments later.
All right, now the JB Weld has had its time to cure, and it seems like it's ready to drill into. So we're gonna start out with a pretty small drill bit, which is a 3/32. I think we're gonna need to go up to about 1/8 of an inch, but we'll take it one size at a time and see how it goes. We'll try just to gently screw it in. That actually is kind of working. I think that pilot hole actually worked pretty decently, so I don't want to take more material away if we don't have to, so I'd call that good. So now we have the original glove box base with the original glove box itself. And I just wanted to show you guys how these came from the factory versus our new mount so you could see the comparison between the two. So everything mounts just as original. We used all the factory holes, obviously, and there's this one fastener that's the problematic one right here. And unfortunately, there's really no way around that. It's just kind of an awkward spot. On our new mount, there are 3 that are on the outside perimeter and 1 on the inside. That makes it a little bit tricky. When we design things, we like to just try to keep it as original as possible, so there's very limited modifications. Just be conscientious of that as you're putting this together. But otherwise, all you gotta do is take out those 4 original screws and you're ready to go. So now, to put on the new one, you just place it right in place of the factory unit, flip it around really quick, and I'll show you how you just use the factory hardware to reinstall this. So those are obviously your 3 easy ones, and then it's a little tricky to see, but there's one deep inside there. So there's this like chamfer here, and behind it is the fastener hole. Now you just got to be careful to install your final screw in there, and you should be good to go. We tried to make it easier by adding this notch right here, so hopefully your screwdriver fits. Sweet. I would call that repair a success. And now it's time to put the ECU back into the glove box. I find it easier just to put the 4 mounting screws on the ECU itself instead of trying to fish them through the holes. And there we go. Now that everything's all bolted together, all you gotta do is take these rubber caps and pop them back into place. And now the last thing we gotta do is install the USB bulkhead. The nut is a 27mm, but I'm just gonna be using a set of pliers to install it. So it just pops in to the recessed hole right here. We do make it kind of tight because we want it to be a nice snug fit. And then there's a lock nut that goes right here. Thread your nut on, and then you could just grab your pliers and don't go crazy, just get it nice and snug. We have the USB bulkhead installed, and here's the back side with the nut and lock washer. All right, now we're back into the truck, and it's time to plug everything back in. I took the USB cable and loomed it up so it's nice and neat inside the dash. But first we're gonna want to snap it back into place on the 2 hangers on the dash. And then we get this guy here. Let's plug in the harnesses. All right, everything's plugged in except for the USB. We have that guy right here. And then you get this guy right in the dash. Why is this being a pain in the ass? There we go. Nice. Now it's in there. Push it into place. Dashboard's nice and clean. Close it, and you wouldn't even know it's in there. Now everything's super clean. We don't have a USB cable all over the place, and you could actually have a usable glove box. My plan would just be to get an additional USB cable that we could keep in the truck, so anytime you want to tune it, not that we're doing that all too often, it'll just be super convenient, very neat, and just easy to work on the truck. Another project we recently completed was redoing the front brakes and the Hyrdroboost again. That turned out to be way more than intended because we found a puddle of hydraulic fluid underneath the truck one day. And I thought, man, that's got to be the master cylinder because literally everything else was brand new on this truck. And it turned out to actually be the brand new Hyrdroboost. And to our luck, it was just out of the 12-month warranty with the couple 100 miles we had on it. And it blew out a seal, so that was pretty awesome. I know you can rebuild them. I didn't really want to do that with the time constraints we had, so I wound up just doing another whole new master cylinder, or rather Hyrdroboost unit. And while we were in there, we did a new master cylinder just so pretty much everything on this truck is brand new. And then we got bit with the while you're at it bug, and we did new rotors, new brake pads, painted the spindles. So pretty much again, this whole front end is new, including the stuff we did years prior when we did the whole front end and everything at Spencer's pole barn. You gotta love it with these parts that you get from the local parts stores. They don't always work out, and sometimes you find yourself doing a job again. We're obviously doing all this work to the truck to finally get it roadworthy, running, driving, and to finally enjoy it. But there is an ulterior motive. we're going to the OBS Nationals in Talladega, Alabama, May 29th and May 30th. So if you're in the area or want to make the trip for the show, make sure you come down and see our booth, because this truck will be there with all of its new upgrades, including a brand new booth we're setting up, which is going to be pretty awesome and much bigger than we've ever done before. So we're super excited for it and can't wait to see you there.